your host, Annette McCoy, and it's always a real pleasure to be with you wherever you are in the world. And today, Rosemary Butterworth joins me again, and we always have such fun, Rosemary, don't we?
We do. We laugh a lot.
And that's so important. I wonder, how much laughter is there in the world? I thanked a girlfriend yesterday because she sent me a TikTok that was absolutely hilarious. And I woke up with a real belly laugh. And what a great way to start a day.
Oh, that is. Too often we think, oh, what have I got to do today?
Exactly.
What day of the week is it?
Oh,
what day of the week? That's
how
usually.
often do I wake up lately and now what day is it? What do I have to do?
Yes. Rather than, saying, thank you, God, for another day. Oh, isn't it wonderful? I'm alive today. To enjoy this day. Now, we've just been talking, Annette, about two words, work and play.
Mm-hmm.
The difference we feel. I know Mum brought me up and said to me, you can't play until your work's done. Go and make your bed, tidy your room, then you can go out to play.
Mm-hmm.
So there was this big divide between work and play. Play was what you enjoyed, but work was not. It was something you laboured at, and you had to get your work done quickly. And do you know, when I'm doing things now which are labelled work, whether it's cleaning or cooking or whatever, I try to be quick. It's a habit. And I've just this minute realised where that started.
Mm-hmm.
From Mum saying, when you finish your work, you can play. So you don't enjoy your work, you be quick at your work. So you can play. But my husband always says, when he's been weeding the garlic, or because we grow garlic commercially, or out on the farm, and comes in, and I think he's been working hard, he said, no, I've just been playing.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say to you was, yesterday when I woke up, and he asked me what I'm going to do, I said, I'm going to play in the garden. And that makes such a difference to us, to enjoy the day with a different attitude. And my son just reminded me this morning that Carl Gibran said, work is love made visible. Different attitude towards work.
And so true. Now, Rose has joined us. Welcome, Rose Gray. And she says, gosh, I've been one to do that from my upbringing. And it's interesting, isn't it, when we are able to look at where have we gained these perceptions, if you like. And it's quite true. Interesting how people will go, they'll enjoy a holiday, but I go back to work on Monday.
That's right.
Our bodies change as well as our intonation. And why is it? It's really important that we can say, yes, I enjoy the work that I do.
Yes. We can enjoy waking up and getting in the car and driving to work and looking at the sky and the sun, enjoy the sunlight. We can enjoy every moment. If we just notice our attitude about working. We can have a new beginning now. Rose, it's just amazing what we get conditioned to. These ideas that we pick up. That work, as you say, I've got to go back to work on Monday. Isn't that sad? Our holiday's over. Why can't we enjoy going to work? Why can't we enjoy everything we do? That would make life wonderful. That would give us a new beginning, wouldn't it? A
Well,
promise of a new beginning.
now it's interesting, Rosemary, because our topic was we had decided we were going to say a golden promise for a better future. And as I went to write it down this morning, I happened to write a golden promise for a new start. And then I remembered that adage, today is the first day of the rest of your life. So,
Yes.
any moment we can change our thinking, which is what Rose has shared with us. Why don't we
Yes.
turn it around and make it fun, the things we need to get done? And it can be fun, to have fun going along with it, which is what you have said as well.
That's right. And it was only just in this talk this morning did I realise why I try to do everything quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So I can play after when I finish my work. Because John says to me, he's pulled me up a couple of times, because being a vegetarian, I'm always chopping up vegetables, chopping up the carrots very quickly, and the beans very quickly and whatever. And he said, what are you doing that for? Take your time. But I've got to be quick. And I didn't realise where that came from until this morning. So I can play later. Why can't I play chopping up the carrots?
Exactly. Yes. And I know people who will put on their favourite music and then as they do the housework.
Yes.
So, it's something that they're not necessarily looking forward to, but let's raise the energy and enjoy.
Yes,
Enjoy
exactly.
everything we do.
Yes. Just enjoy it. Enjoy every moment. Yes, exactly. And that's the way to have a new beginning, isn't it?
Well, that's right. And to appreciate the opportunity to do whatever we're doing. How fortunate, Rosemary, that you have the time to be in the garden. How fortunate that I have the time to socialise or support local op shops. Who knows?
Oh, you're making me laugh because I've just cleaned out a cupboard. And it was quite funny because it was in a spare room, and I cleaned out the cupboard and I took down this skirt and it was a size 10. I haven't been a size 10 for 30 years. It was a beautiful skirt, and I packed it up and sent it to the op shop, and all these things that we hang on to. And that was like a new beginning too. Throwing out or giving to others these things that I no longer needed,
Yes.
and it felt good. It really felt good to clear out the rubbish. What if I could clear out the rubbish of all these ideas that I have in my head?
So true. We do feel lighter. At the moment, I'm sitting at a table that is completely cluttered, and it had been cleared earlier in the week, and I thought, right, I do need to get on top of this. I've been a clutterer, I guess, all my life. I delighted in my bedroom being full of boxes because I was making aids for when I became a teacher. My classroom desk was always cluttered. And if the children cleaned it up, it was like, oh no, because I knew exactly where things were amongst the clutter.
Yes, yes. Oh dear, it's funny, isn't it? Oh, gee whiz. What have we cluttered up in our mind? What thoughts and ideas do we need to clear out and let go and see the world as a different place?
Now, may I share what Rose is sharing?
Yes.
She has learnt to do just that. Maybe it's the decluttering. Trying not to condition my grandchildren like I have been And in turn, without realizing, I did just that to my own children. But it's never too late. How true is that? We always have a new beginning.
Definitely. Every day. As you said
Yes.
earlier, every day is a new day, a chance, a new beginning. It's wonderful. My son's just in the kitchen at the moment, and I thought he might have a comment to make about that. Have you got a comment?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everybody. Am I going to come in and
Yes,
sit with my
come in,
mother?
Peter. Lovely to see you.
Yeah, lovely to see you too, Annette. So thank you. I actually thought it was lovely that you're mentioning grandparents. And I think there's a lot of wisdom that grandparents have that is not readily graced upon the younger generation. And I think that it's wonderful that, grandparents like to have a cup of tea and a space. And I think that's just a wonderful lesson for the young ones who are always racing around. So, Rose was saying that she's a grandmother, is she?
Yes.
Yeah, hi, Rose. And I think that's wonderful that you can impart this wisdom of the generation. And it seems to be lost, this sort of elder respect, because we don't know how to use Facebook or press the right buttons on the telephone. Well, give it to me, Grandma. Granddad, you're just hopeless. And yet there's a whole lifetime of understanding and learning that we have been through that is certainly well worth passing on to the next generation.
My word.
Yeah, I mean, just like I just like when I went to my grandparents. And I was always in a rush. They would make a cup of tea, and I go, "Oh, geez, look, I just don't want a cup of tea." But you look back on the best times were just sitting around with people and spending some time there, and you just pausing and taking a breath, and it's those moments when you are working, and you do stop and reflect, that you're sort of released from the idea that, oh, I have to work. And I won't be happy until this job is finished.
Yes.
I won't be free. So hence you rush around.
Yes.
So.
You rush around to try to do it quickly.
Yes. It's so much our perception and our attitude. And Rose says hello to you, and Belinda Brown is joining us. Welcome, Belinda. And good morning.
God, I love that alliteration, Belinda. That's excellent. So like tiger, burning bright. Yeah, just wonderful.
She's lovely. Hi, Belinda. How are you today? Are you enjoying the day, Belinda?
I hope you don't have to work,
a
Belinda.
Grandmother too.
Oh,
Sorry.
wow. No, I'm just saying, Belinda, I hope you don't have to work.
No.
Okay. I hope if you're working, it's full of love and play.
Yes. And the thing is, we can all do that, no matter what our job. And I smile because I don't particularly like the word retirement. I see that I'm in another phase of my life, and I constantly say that I live a charmed existence, being able to do what I choose to do. And whereas some people are very afraid of retirement because it's like, oh, what am I going to do? Well, it's that having the choice to do whatever we'd like to do. And some of us in our work, shall we say, when we're getting paid for our work, how do we perceive that? Are we living in the moment? Are we enjoying what we're doing? Or are we living for the tomorrow when we retire?
Yes.
Well, that's what John Lennon said, didn't he, in one of his songs, which was, life is what happens while you're making plans for the future.
Exactly. Yes.
So.
Belinda's absolutely wrapped. She's found us online, and today is her own. And
Right.
good morning, Elaine Ann, who is another presenter on Angel Heart Radio.
Hi, Elaine. What
Elaine
does Elaine present?
Elaine is a numerologist. So Elaine Ann joins me next week, the last Thursday of each month. And also Elaine has her own show as well. I have a feeling it's on Tuesday mornings. So very exciting. And Chrissy has joined us as well. Hello.
Hello.
I love having interaction with our audience. It's very good.
Yes. Oh, it's really, really lovely from different parts of Australia and the world. Do you know what I mean? To know what's happening and how they feel. And yeah, it's really good. What sort of day they're having, whether it's a work
Peter.
day or a play day.
Well, that's true. Yes. Or is it a work day that they see as a play day?
Yes, oh, that's nice.
Yes, I like Winnie the Pooh's comment where Piglet says, "What's your favourite day, Pooh?" And he says, "Today." And yet we sort of wait around until Friday, well, those of us who have to work. And I won't be happy until it turns 5:30 and I can get out of the office. And these ideas that rule our lives, and Gurdjieff says they're like a prison and you're in jail. And people don't even realize they're in jail until they... I remember once I was doing a volunteering at a local school where we did just, helping out clean up the school. And my children were at the school and all the parents were sort of expected to give of their time and help at the school. And it was this gorgeous day and it was a Saturday and I wanted to go fishing. And I was up on this roof of the school, one of the school houses, and I was cleaning the gutters out. And the chap next to me said, "Isn't it a glorious day?" And I said, "Yeah, I wish I could enjoy it." And he looked at me like, "Are you for real?" And I went, "Oh, yes, I can. What's stopping me from enjoying the glorious day? I mean, just because I'm cleaning leaves out of a gutter doesn't mean that I can't enjoy it." But the idea of I don't want to be here is a very powerful idea. And in fact, once that you realize that, then you think, well, actually, the chap I was with was a really funny, great guy. And I was doing a service for the school and it was actually really a lovely day. So you just let go of that idea, and then, which is like a jail, like Gurdjieff says it's a jail, and you go, wow, I can be free. Magic, like a miracle. I am free. That's a miracle. Hallelujah. Yeah, so it's the miracle of the leaves on the roof of the John Collett School in Sydney.
Yes.
Fabulous. Now,
Yes.
Chrissy is from the Caribbean. How fortunate is she? Lovely place of the world to live.
I've never been. Chrissy, what's it like there? It's probably like 24/7 holiday.
It's very nice. I do like that part of the world. I was going to ask you, Peter, how do you feel about being here in Australia when quite often you're in the UK? And at the moment, of course, talk about the start of a new phase. It's amazing, isn't it? What's happening?
It's actually this sort of Zoom presents a wonderful opportunity, because I still I could work on my UK business and I can do my philosophy for the UK and also for Australia. The world's become a much smaller place, and we've obviously got people from the Caribbean and from the US and for different parts of Australia. I think it's just, and the world is a very small place now. I actually ran a retreat a couple of weeks ago in Nottingham in the UK, and I had a chap fly over from Canada because we had been, Zooming like this for the retreat. It it was like everybody knew everybody else, and there's no difference. And I think that this physical separation has become a lot less now because of the technology.
True.
So it's a lovely thing.
True.
I
Now,
hope that answered your question.
Chrissy answered your question. It is very beautiful, many islands to explore.
Excellent.
Thank you, Chrissy.
Yes.
Oh, geez.
And as well as you realizing that you could enjoy your day on the roof, Rose says, I'm sure the roof would have appreciated you for your time.
Well, the roof didn't say anything, but it looked like it was very happy. If the universe was speaking to me, it would have said, the roof would have been going, thank you. I can now, drain out the storm water properly. And and I'm not going to overflow into the classroom for the children. So it was probably a big thank you there somewhere.
Yes.
So what's the new beginning, Mum? What's this new... Mum, am I allowed to call you Mum, or do I have to call you Rosemary Butterworth on mine? You want me to get? My mother used to hit me with the wooden spoon. Do you want me to get it? I'll just go.
Oh, and with that, he's left. Oh,
He's left to get a wooden spoon. Well, when you have 3 boys at the table and they're all rowdy, and the only way, and I had a baby girl as well, and the only...
She broke a wooden spoon over my brother's head once. Kid you not. Well, today she'd be on charges today, like for cruelty to children.
It was already fractured.
Yeah, the head was from previous beatings. Yes. So there you are, Mother, if you want to... And this will be recorded. Is this recorded?
Yes.
So I can actually,
Prove.
I can actually walk around now going, I'm an abused child.
Yes.
So I can hang on to that if I want to. Like, I've been abused, yes, right. And now
can I share a story? Belinda would like to share a little story of a car. Oh, she's hung on to a car for a way too long. I finally photographed it and put it online for sale. I asked for protection, making this happen. Finally, freeing me from a car that caused me anxiety and a lot of money. I sold it on Saturday, and on Monday, I got a message I tuned into. I needed to look online and find me a decent car. I didn't have a lot, but I found within minutes of the ad going up, I have secured my new vehicle for way under price. I am so grateful.
Oh,
fantastic.
That's a lovely story. Thank you for sharing that.
So, yes, thank you for sharing, Belinda, and trusting. When we can trust, know what we have to do and listen to our inner voice, inner feelings, it's amazing what can happen.
I think you should go and get one of the books you wrote, which is No Presents, Please, and you can read it to the people.
Why?
Because it's a really good story for children. Peter wrote these books for children, and each one has a moral in it or a learning.
This is not a plug for my books.
No, I just thought today.
You have to be very careful about that.
I'm not plugging your books. And I thought today that particular book would be very good. No Presents, Please.
Okay. All right. I'll go and get the book.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Right. I'll be back. In fear of the wooden spoon and getting pizza. I'll go and get
I was waiting for that.
Bend over, bang. Oh, dear. That's fun. And I'll just tell the listeners that Peter's been living in London and he only arrived here a few days ago. And it's just so wonderful because I hadn't seen him for such a long time. And it's wonderful. And he teases me all the time and makes me laugh. And people tell me that I look 20 years younger when he's here because I laugh a lot. Oh, dear. So here he is. He's got his book.
He's back, fortunately. So I can tell you that Australia will never, ever be invaded by a foreign army because of jet lag. Like the soldiers that arrive and they be going and fall asleep. So this is a series of books. I've always had a great love of stories. Those stories like Zen stories or philosophical tales or even Christian parables and Buddhist stories that really take you to the edge of where you are. And what I did was created this series of stories called Zen Tales, spelled Tails, as a pun on animal characters being the protagonists. And in the Zen Tales, we have the teachers, which represents the paths of love, knowledge, and action. And then following in their footsteps are the students who are following in the paths of love, action, and knowledge. And this is Bruno Beagle, he's following the path of action. And Pierre Potamus, he's in the path of love. And Gilbert B. Beaver is the studious one on the path of knowledge. And then you have the fools, and these are the ones who suffer the negative feelings and emotions. And you have Furball the cat, who's lazy, and Monkey, who's all very agitated, and Grizzle Bear, who's angry. So these characters who personify human traits within us all can represent these great stories. And one of the stories that my mother likes is this one, No Presents Please. And that's taken from a classic story where apparently the Buddha's sitting underneath a tree and the angry man comes up to him and says, geez, you're ugly, you smell, you used to be a prince, now you sit there all day, you do nothing at all. What use are you to the planet? And the Buddha just sits there and smiles at him. And he says, don't you have anything to say? The Buddha finally looks up at him with infinite love and compassion and says, if somebody offers you a gift and you do not accept the gift, who owns it? And the angry man says, well, obviously the giver of the gift. So the Buddha says, well, I refuse to accept your anger. You will have to keep it yourself. Anyway, so we take that story, which appears, that story appears at the back of the book, but we have this beautiful day here where Guru Wombat's sitting in the shade of a tree and saying, what a beautiful day, the sun's shining, the birds are singing, it's just gorgeous. And you contrast that to the bear, Grizzle Bear, who's stomping along, and he says, what a rotten day, the sun's too hot, the wind rustles up my fur, and the birds are just screeching and squawking, it's just awful. Now, interestingly enough, when you teach this to children and you say, why does the wombat having a beautiful day? And why is the bear having a rotten day? Children can't answer. They say, well, the bear must be in a different part of the day. It must be raining where the bear is, or it must be too hot where the bear is, or it must be, the birds must be louder where the bear is. And you say, no, they're exactly the same. Why is the day for the bear different? Children don't understand. They realize that, the outside you can sing in the rain. There's no such thing as miserable rain, right? The rain can't make you miserable. Anyway, it's just an interesting point. So you ask them this. It's something that they learn. So anyway, the bear stomps along, and he happens to stomp right up to where the Guru Wombat's sitting, and he says, get out of my stomping path. And the bear says nothing. He just smiles at him, and the wombat says nothing. So the bear goes, if you don't get out of my stomping path, I'm going to stomp on your head. Children giggle and laugh. Oh, that's so funny. And the wombat just smiles. Didn't you hear me? If you don't get out of my stomping path, I'm going to give you a bone-crunching grizzle bear squeeze. Children laugh, giggle, ha, 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 ha. It's so funny. The bear just smiles with infinite love and compassion. Wombat smiles. Thank you, Phil. If I read it, it would read correctly. If you don't get out of my stomping, I'm going to give you a punch on the nose. The wombat doesn't say anything. Finally, the bear's anger, which was sort of at this level, it comes down a little bit. If you let somebody be as angry as they can be, you'll find that they soon run out of puff after a short period of time. You actually can't hold your anger for so long. Anyway, the bear says to the wombat, don't you have anything to say? And the wombat says, it's not my birthday. The bear is a bit flummoxed. He's going, what do you mean it's not your birthday? And the wombat says, look at the presents you tried to give me. You tried to give me a stomp on the head. You tried to give me a bone-crunching grizzle bear squeeze, and you even tried to give me a punch on the nose. I wouldn't want those presents, even if it was my birthday. you're going to have to keep your anger all to yourself. So anyway,
I love it.
anyway, the bear then, bear says, I'm not angry. And he stomps on, he's just stomping on a flower. And the wombat points out to him and says, look at that flower you just stomped on. Now, like the angry person who a lot of the time doesn't even realize that they're angry. The bear then suddenly realizes he has been angry and decides then, promises the wombat that he'll spend the rest of the day being happy. And all of a sudden the day transforms. He smells the flowers and he loves listening to the birds and enjoys the sunshine.
Yes.
So that's one of the stories of No Presents, Please,
Yes.
in the Zentile series for children.
That is beautiful.
Thank you.
Elaine's saying, oh, wow.
Okay.
So that's how to change your day.
Yeah. I mean, this is where these stories really, really help. Like we tell ourselves that, the rain does make us miserable. We tell ourselves that, I will be happy when I get the new car.
Yes.
And that may or may not be true, because you can actually, it may not be that, your happiness is dependent on getting a new car for the right price.
Mm-hmm.
Your happiness might be available right here and now.
Absolutely. Belinda says, such a lovely story.
Thank you,
It is.
Thank you. Thank you, Belinda.
Now, Peter, I would like to share how people can get your books, because I think that's really a lovely thing to do.
Well, if they're in Australia, they can just go to zentales.com with a TAILS. In fact, they can spell it anyway. It'll all go to the same website. They can buy it from there. So that's probably the easiest. They can buy them. I think there's a free ebook download. It's free. You can just download the ebook for free, but it's not the same as getting the physical copy and having a child. I mean, I do encourage parents and grandparents to sit down with children. Love being read a book. Because I've been in the publishing industry for 20 plus years, publishing children's books. And about 10 years ago, everybody was saying, oh, they're all going to go to ebooks and the physical book was going to disappear. But for children, no, because the experience of sitting down on your father's or your mother's lap or your grandfather's or your grandmother's lap and have them read you a story is just one of the most exquisite and enjoyable experiences of life. Because the children won't let you not be in the present moment. Because they'll be there going, pay attention, Grandma. Like, no, Grandma, what are you, no, I'm talking to you. They'll grab your face and they'll put it to you and you realize, oh, okay, right. And then with a physical book, and you can embellish the stories and you can say, wow, you're very wise and loving like Guru Wombat. And they go, yes, I am. Or you read them a princess story and you say to a young girl, you're the most beautiful girl in the world. And they go, yes, I am. And it's true, they are. Like, there's just, it's not that you're more beautiful than anybody. You are the most beautiful. And they say yes. And then, a few years later, they want to turn the brightness down on the Zoom because they've got too many wrinkles.
I think you might be saying that to me.
Because they're a bit worried about how they look on camera.
Peter has 2 grandchildren.
I do. I have 2 young boys, a 2.5-year-old and a 1.5-year-old.
And who live in
Nice.
Who's been minding them before he came here.
We are so blessed when we have children in our lives. And for those of us who are fortunate enough to be grandparents, that's super. I like the fact that people who mightn't be gifted with grandchildren can adopt a family. And that works both ways, doesn't it? Especially when we have families who emigrate from overseas, and quite often they've left their extended families overseas, and they've come to start a new life. And it's wonderful that within the community they can find support, and it works both ways.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can treat everybody as if they're part of your family. You know, the bus driver, the girl at the supermarket, who's at your checkout. You can, like, when I say girl, it could be a boy as well, or anyone, you can. I remember this great story that Jack Cornfield tells about, which was relayed to him, about this girl who was nursing, and she was doing her nursing exams, and one of the questions on the exam was, what was the name of the cleaner who cleans the building?
Mm-hmm.
And she asked the professor at the end. She had to leave it blank, and she asked the professor, will this count towards my grades? And he said, absolutely. He said, you will meet very many people in the world, and everyone is important, and it's well worth learning their names. And she said, I'd never forgotten that lesson, and her name was Dorothy. Yeah, and you open your heart and you invite these people into your family. It doesn't always mean that you have them home and give them a room, but you treat them as if, particularly if they cut you off in traffic.
Yes.
Or take your parking spot.
Yes. They must have needed it more than you did.
Well, they may have done, or you may, if it was your brother, it might be quite appropriate for you to go and say, look, Bill.
I often feel now, Peter, that if somebody's coming into the parking spot from the opposite way, I usually give them the courtesy of having that parking spot, because I figure there's a better one for me.
Yes.
Or you can figure, I love that person so much, they deserve it more than me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. There are so many different ways that we can respond, and it doesn't have to be. In fact, we feel better in ourselves when it's with love rather than anger or rage.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, that's exactly right. All this is like a promise of a new beginning if we live like this. It is a new beginning, and every moment we have a chance to live the promise of a new beginning, don't we? Yes?
Oh, I'm sorry. The spoon. I wasn't quick enough to respond. And hit me with it again. Yes. Look, there's the in the Bible, Christ speaks about the feast, and he invites everybody to the feast, and and nobody turns up. Well, a few people do, but then they go. He goes out into the not Christ, but in the parable, the king, or he sends out his servants to go out into the markets, and people were too busy ploughing their fields, or they were too busy selling their oxen, and they was always too busy to come and enjoy the feast. And anyway, the problem is that if you don't turn up, you don't enjoy the feast. And the present moment is the feast, because you can't do anything other than right now. Like, you can't be happy in a few moments' time. You can't be happy tomorrow. You can't be happy yesterday. You can only be happy now. You can have a memory of what it was like being happy yesterday. And if tomorrow you are happy, well, then it's the present moment as well. So everything actually happens now, and this is the feast. But if you're too busy
thinking, I've got to do this,
texting your what show you're going to watch tonight to your to your partner, well, then you're looking at TikTok videos. You're actually not there. And then you sort of wake up on your deathbed and you go, oh, geez, I wish I spent more time texting someone.
Why would you do that?
Well, you don't. I mean, that's a little facetious. That was
right.
a very famous quote. It was either Wilde or, anyway, well, you could look it up for me, but he said, Nobody on their deathbed says, gee, I wish I spent more time at the office. So, I mean, you don't wish you spent more time not being here. So this is where grandparents saying, sit down and have a cup of tea and enjoy each other's good company.
Yeah.
I think good company is a really powerful tool, important thing. And this affords all those people out there. I mean, you get the sense that Belinda and Elaine and Rose are a great company, really good company, because we're like-minded beings and we're all on, we're all walking each other home, as Ram Dass says. It's a wonderful thing.
Yes.
So, and we can do this. We live in an opportunity that humanity has never before experienced, in that we have the political freedom, religious freedom, spiritual freedom to discuss whatever we want to discuss. We have enough food in our bellies, I mean, assuming that certainly in our countries, but we don't actually have to go out and hunt and forage for food, just to keep our family alive. And we have the wealth of literature and knowledge that those who have gone before us have left for us. It's, for instance, like you take Plato. You don't actually have to learn ancient Greek to study Plato anymore. It's just there for you. The Vedanta, all of the Upanishads, it's all been translated. And not only has it been translated, there are commentaries out there that are put out by far wiser people than me. And you can pretend, wow, I'm so wise. I've read this particular chap's commentary on it. And it's and we have just access. You want to ask yourself, well, what's the beginning of the Isha Upanishad? And you just go online and there it is. And how do you pronounce these particular words? And there they are. What did Plato say about justice? And there it is. But, Love Island's on. And that's the alternative. This is incredible attraction. Well, you can watch Bargain Hunt if you like. But we have this, that never before in the history of humanity has there been such an opportunity for people like this to meet and discover the truth about themselves.
The Isha Upanishad, whatever lives is full of the Lord. Claim nothing, do not covet his property. May peace and peace and peace be everywhere. I don't know, that just came in.
Do you remember the Sanskrit?
I love it.
No, I don't remember the Sanskrit. Oh dear.
So, well.
Yeah.
Isha vasyam mitanga sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena chaktena bahunjita magrita kasya sviddahanam.
Right. I believe you.
Okay, whatever lives is full of the Lord. That's a great thing. I mean, just look at even this wooden spoon's full of the Lord. Can you believe that? So when it hits me, it's the Lord saying, Peter, behave yourself.
Definitely.
Oh my, see, what wisdom, what wit, and we're bringing laughter as well.
Well, at least to ourselves anyway, so we're having fun.
See why I laugh a lot when he's here.
And it makes a difference. I quite often think, have I laughed today? And I find myself laughing a lot more these days than before. It's wonderful. Sometimes I'll do something a little silly and find myself laughing rather than going off my head in anger. Much better way.
Can I share something silly I did? I had a dear friend here. She had a cup of tea with me, and it was lovely to see her. Anyway, when she got up, she left her phone on my dining room table, and she'd just driven off. And I said, oh my gosh, there's a phone. I'll ring her and tell her to come back and pick her up. So believe it, I did. I went and got my phone and rang her. And the first thing I thought was, oh, someone's already ringing her. And I realised what I was doing.
And I grew up with this example.
When did she realise that she'd left her phone?
Oh, not until she got home. And yeah, she didn't come back, I think, until the next day. And so I ended up ringing her son. Her son went and checked on her anyway and told her that she left the phone here because I wanted her to know it was here, right? So that she didn't worry because she didn't know where she left it. She could have thought she dropped it on the property or something and she left it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I wanted her to know that I had it safe here. So I rang his son and told him, and he went up. He rang the next door neighbour, that's right. He rang her next door neighbour. He knew the number, and she went and told her. And so she came over the next day and got it. But it was a very funny thing to do.
Because a friend of mine did the same thing last week. Fortunately, she lives very close, but she knew that I had left. And of course, her phone was here. So she had to find another way of connecting with me to say, my phone's on your table.
Yes.
Fortunately, she could come back and get it and all was well. But it is an interesting situation. Our phones have become such a part of us that, because I know I left mine at a girlfriend's place, and it was like, what am I going to do? It's my only means of communication.
Yes, that's right.
I remember when I was young and you told me that Peter Sellers had a phone in his office which was upstairs and his wife was downstairs, and he used to call her to tell her he would be, late for dinner or something. He was working on a project or something. And my mind was just blown as a young child. Like, why would he call her? Like, why would we, he's just upstairs. Why wouldn't he just come downstairs and tell her? Or like, anyway, and now we live in this, the person's in the next room, and say, Mum, I don't like your dinner. No, I would never say that.
No,
Boy, my life is not worth living.
No. You're the good cook anyway. Peter's a very good cook. Yes, so I'm very lucky.
So how about we get back to philosophy?
Yes.
So I'm interested in Angel Heart Radio. What does Angel Heart Radio do?
We present shows like this.
Okay, just having fun.
Absolutely.
Okay, oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yes, and knowledge too, because Elaine who will be on next week?
And she does the astrology.
And she does numerology.
Sorry.
Numbers. And I find numbers very interesting.
They are.
Yes.
Fascinating.
Yes.
Belinda wants to know, Rosemary, she's wondering whether you painted after the last show.
I did. And I haven't finished it. I'm not very happy with it, Belinda, at the moment, so it's hidden away. And I had trouble mixing the colours I wanted, so I'm going to actually get my sketchbook out and practice mixing colours again. And I need to do that to get the greens I want, and because I could see what I wanted and it wasn't right, And yes, so but I did get my paint out and paint. Yes,
Belinda did too, and she hasn't finished hers either.
Right. Okay. So perhaps next time, love, we can show the painting.
And Belinda's saying she couldn't find colours. Interesting that you were both on the same. And yes, so she painted. So how lovely.
Yeah.
Peter,
So was she using acrylics?
Sorry, Rosemary.
Was Belinda using acrylics? I just want to know too.
She'll have to let you know in a moment.
Right. Okay. Back to your question.
Yes. What were you using, Rosemary?
I was using acrylics.
Right. Yes, and so was Belinda.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Peter, thank you for joining us.
It's been a pleasure, a delight, Annette. Thank you, and thank you to all of the others who've joined us from all over the globe and shared our little time together.
It's wonderful. It is. It's
Technology. It's fantastic.
Sure.
I was just going to say, it is the promise of a new beginning every day, isn't it? You know, we can choose to wake up.
Stop it, Mum. You're not allowed to hit me on radio.
Belinda, thank you for the lovely morning. It has been a fabulous morning. And the thing is, we all have the opportunity to continue and to make it into a fabulous day.
Yes, definitely. Been lovely.
Doesn't matter if it's raining. Just ask Gene Kelly. He used to sing in the rain. The Heart Full of Love.
It is so much up to us. Yes. And I think some people are being aware now that quite often we look at the negative of a weather situation rather than being grateful for it, because some people have said to me recently, we're complaining about the cold, and in a few months' time we'll be complaining about the heat. And okay, that's one way of looking at it. I always think, well, how fortunate, because I have the clothes to put on to keep myself comfortable. We're in the cool and the heat.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's lovely. Yes, I think we do. It's a wonderful practice to, spend a day just not complaining about anything, whatever it is. Just I'm going to spend the day today. I'm not going to complain or judge about anything. And we often think, why is this happening to me? And yet, if you go to the gym or you have a personal trainer and they work you really hard, you think, the lactic acid builds up and you're in so much pain, and you say, this is great. I'm going to be so fit. And you're walking along and somebody says, you're fat. And you go, and you can't take it, but you don't say, wow, thank you so much for giving me an emotional, spiritual workout. So if you go through these times and you go, wow, this is great. This opportunity I've got to really grow in strength. Yes. So anyway, I'm going to leave you to it and say.
We're just going to say.
Are we all going to say goodbye together?
Yes, we say goodbye together.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you to our audience, live and down the track. That's the beauty of this show. I'd like to remind everybody that these shows should never replace your legal, medical, nor professional advice, nor your own sound judgment. May we continue to give gratitude and let go of those complaints.
Yes.
Much love to us all. And thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much.